The secret Sussex reunion behind closed doors.
We know that Meghan was meant to be here this morning. Our assumption is that she's in the UK privately. She's here with the children.
So have Archie and Lilibet been reunited with their granddad?
Prince Harry is so keen for his children to spend some time with their grandfather. We know that the King would love to spend some time with his grandchildren.
And Harry's hugs for the First Lady of Birmingham, Alison Hammond.
By the way, my kids love Junior Baby.
Oh, stop it!
Absolutely love it.
Your kids and Meghan must be so proud of you.
I love my family.
Hello, welcome to Talking Royals for the second time this week. Aren't you lucky? Chris and Lizzie aren't here, actually, because they've been following Prince Harry up and down the country. You're currently in Birmingham, where he was there for an Invictus Games event. But look, I want to get to that in a second, because the thing that most people are talking about today is whether or not Meghan and the kids are secretly in the country. Chris, do we know?
No.
Do you want to expand on that, Chris?
We don't know. We think they are. There's a lot of, you'll read lots of stuff, I'm sure, over the coming hours and days about whether Meghan's in the country, not in the country. Let's deal with some facts. We know that she was meant to be here this morning at the NEC on the outskirts of Birmingham, joining Prince Harry, her husband, at this Invictus event. She wasn't here. They told us last night she wasn't going to make any public engagements in the UK, but they didn't rule out her being in the UK at all. So our assumption, and also our kind of intelligence, because we spend a lot of time trying to talk to lots of people about these kind of things, is that yes, she is in the UK. She's in the UK privately. She's here with the children, Prince Archie and Princess Lilibet. That's the first time since 2022, so the first time in 4 years. We think they're at the Spencer family home, which is Althorp Estate near Northampton. And as we speak to you at the moment, Charlene, a meeting with the King for Harry, for Meghan, for the kids is still very much TBC.
And so, Lizzie, this is all connected to security, isn't it? And presumably, if she's here on a private visit and just visiting family, she was, if she is here, able to fly into the country without anyone knowing that they were flying in, go through immigration, if that's what they do, at Heathrow or whatever, and able to get to the estate without anybody knowing. But it's not what they would have preferred, is it?
No, originally they had planned to come over as a family and spend time here together. But then that plan fell apart when Harry found out that he wasn't going to get the automatic full police protection when the family were staying here. And it was decided at that point that Meghan and the children wouldn't come for the London elements of the visit. It was never ruled out, however, that that they wouldn't come for other parts. We always knew he was going to visit other parts of the country, including Birmingham, and they never fully ruled out that they wouldn't join him for those elements. So we think, as Chris said, that they are going to spend some time together with the Spencer family, Princess Diana's brother and sisters. The big question, though, is will they be able to have the family reunion with the King? We know Prince Harry is so keen for his children to spend some time with their grandfather. We know that the King would love to spend some time with his grandchildren, and that a reunion had been hoped for. Whether that actually happens, let's see.
Charlene, you can hear lots of noises behind this. It's because they are literally taking this thing apart as we speak to you. We've asked them actually very kindly if they could just leave all these bits in place just before we finish talking to you. But the event was only very temporary. It is to mark 1 year to go. So on the 10th of July next year, this area is going to be full of Invictus Games competitors from all around the world. But if you're hearing banging and crashing, it's not our fault. It's the deconstruction behind us.
No, and we appreciate the venue, staying open for us so we can record this. I promise you, we won't be very long, so then they'll be able to take the stuff apart completely.
Yeah. If you
Look,
talk
Chris,
too long, Charlene, you'll see they'll start lifting up these signs and taking them away. So
and then they'll start lifting up
It's
Lizzie.
a polite way of saying hurry up.
Yeah, and lifting up Lizzie and taking her away. Off she goes.
Move me. Yeah.
But look, lots of people have lots of different opinions about what I'm going to say next, and they are entitled to their opinions about it. I don't necessarily think it's always based on fact. But I think it's a shame. I think for something as big as the Invictus Games, for it to be happening in Birmingham, for the celebrations of a year before the Games are due to kick off, I think it's a real shame that we're in this situation where it would have been really lovely to have her there.
Do you know, it would have been better. I think it's always better the more people you can have here. In fact, I've done a few interviews here today when we've been looking ahead to whether the King will make it for the big event, the opening ceremony this time next year. And I mean, everyone's opinion is it's better if everyone comes, it's better if everyone gets on. It's better, you know, the more people that come, the more publicity this event gets. So I think I agree with you. It is a shame that Meghan couldn't have been here. And we were told, by the way, not because we were guessing this stuff, we were told by their office that she was due here to attend this event with Harry by her side. I think with everything, not just the security that you mentioned and that they're not getting, and we've discussed that in detail on this podcast in previous editions, but also with, you've got to say Harry's had quite a difficult week. If you add in security, not staying at Buckingham Palace, convincingly losing the libel case against the Mail, maybe Meghan's PR expertise in her own brain's gone, I'm not sure I want to be associated with this week in the UK with Harry, so I'm gonna stay in my car or drive to Earl Spencer's house and stay behind the gates and not be seen.
But Lizzie, do you know what he did have? Do you know who he did have by his side? It may have not been a princess, but he had the Queen of Birmingham, my mate Alison Hammond, who was hanging out with him at the Invictus Games. I mean, I'm not being funny. If you can't have Meghan by your side, I think possibly the best person in reserve is our good old Ali. And she was brilliant on This Morning today.
She was. Do you remember the skit that Prince Harry did with Stephen Colbert, the Bake Off skit that he did with Alison Hammond? So it was quite nice to see the pair of them reunited. And he was talking about his kids being fans of Junior Bake Off. But yes, the focus of the interview was, of course, the Invictus Games, and it is something that, you know, Meghan has been by his side at various games since 2017 when he first introduced her to the world at Toronto. We remember very clearly sitting and watching them arrive at the wheelchair tennis, and that was the moment where she was kind of formally introduced to the world as his girlfriend. But a lot has changed since then.
Charlene, there was a really nice bit when Alison Hammond and Harry were taking part in a race together. I think it was called laser rugby, where they have to sort of run around a circuit and then do some shooting. And then they were doing it live on the TV this morning, which was quite hilarious. And Alison was like trying to keep up with Harry. They also had some various other competitors there as well. And I think by the time Harry had finished sort of the shooting, the laser practice, and got all his targets and ran off, Alison was still there trying to find her target. But she had a really good conversation with him because, of course, she's a Brummie. I was having to explain to an Australian this morning what a Brummie is. They've never heard of the word Brum or a Brummie. So I was having to explain to them, someone from Birmingham is called a Brummie. And that's obviously one of Alison Hammond's great attributes, as long as, of course, with her presenting skills.
Yeah, she is a proud Brummie. Well, look, for anyone that didn't see this morning, let's take a look at that little interaction between Harry and Ali.
I love your earrings, by the way.
Oh, thank you, babe. Thank you.
By the way, my kids love Junior Bake Off.
Oh, stop it!
Absolutely love it. And I love it as
Come
well.
and do the show.
It's far better than the grown-up version.
Well, I've got to say, I know you love me because you keep imitating me. What was that all about at the Stephen Colbert show? What was that all about?
They found out that I am one of your secret admirers and that I follow your every move. So they said, who do you want to imitate? I said, obviously, Alison.
Oh, thanks, darling. Honestly, your kids and Meghan must be so proud of you.
Yeah.
Do they tell you every day?
They don't tell me every day that they're proud of me, but yeah, I'm proud of them, they're proud of me. I love my family.
Now, so the thing is he'd relaxed by that point in the interview, because at the start, one of the first things he said to Alison was, oh my God, I love your hoops. And do you know what I love about that is I think that Harry might have been a little bit nervous being around our good old national treasure that is Alison Hammond. What do you reckon, Lizzie?
I think it's probably nervous going on live daytime television, but he always looks incredibly comfortable and at ease when he does Invictus events. He has created this community, and lots of people here today, we have met over the years at different games, and they really, really do stick together and are there for each other. Their families are part of this community. And he is, he's always called this kind of his second family. Invictus is like his baby, and he really is the most sort of relaxed in himself when he's at these events.
Yeah, definitely very relaxed, Harry. But you know what, Charlotte, in answer to your question about Alison Hammond, I think he was a bit starstruck. I think when he saw her and he was next to her, I think he just was a little bit starstruck. And I reckon we've got the title perhaps of a new film, When Harry Met Ali.
Oh, this is why we pay you the big bucks. This is why we pay you the big bucks, Chris. Genius. Absolutely genius. And I do think so. And I think it's it shows sort of the human side of him, is that, yes, he is the son of the King of England. Yes, I do completely understand that. But there are moments where he can meet somebody and just be starstruck. And I think that's a really beautiful thing. And we love Alison. I love Alison. I think she's such an amazing woman. And for him to also recognise that really does reflect his human side after what's been a really difficult week, Chris.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's just like when he got into, on this court behind us, they were playing something called pickleball, like kind of tennis. It's meant to be like an easier version of tennis. So the people who, for example, some of the people that Harry was playing against, one of them was one of his friends called David Henson, who's a double amputee from Afghanistan. I think he told me in 2010 or 2011. So it's meant to be easier for them to play. He just gets stuck right in, and he did the same with the right over there with the wheelchair basketball as well.
Well, they've got wheelchair rugby.
And it's seriously kind of like the way they slam into one another. We interviewed one of the competitors of that, and she said, yeah, I was actually relieved that Harry was on my team because that meant I didn't have to ram into him quite so hard. So it's quite a dangerous sport, and he properly gets stuck in. And I think he wasn't meant to do that, was he? And he basically saw a spare wheelchair, said, I'm in it, strapped himself in, and on the court he was.
Yeah, there's no denying this has been an incredibly bruising week for the Sussex camp and for Prince Harry. But watching him here today, you would never have known that. The focus was fully on 1 year to go for the Invictus Games Birmingham. It was fully on everybody here involved in Invictus. And, when we spoke to people saying, talking about his week, they were saying, no, the focus is on the veterans and the community here. And I think he really did. It was business as usual for him today, whatever else was going on.
And one of the things, when we post anything up on socials about anything to do with Meghan and Harry, the vitriol is incredible and insane. And I think it's really easy for people to get caught up in that rather than the good work that he actually does. Invictus Games has been hugely powerful, and it has changed the lives of so many people, and people sort of choose to get caught up in this vitriol rather than look at things like this, Chris.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you anymore, actually. The Invictus Games, and we thought this in the very first one that me and Lizzie went to in 2017 in Toronto. That was the Meghan one, and a lot of it was kind of overshadowed of like, who's Harry's new girlfriend and will he introduce her to the world? But actually, we got, before that happened, before he, came out onto that court in Nathan Phillips Square in Toronto with her, we were kind of quite completely wrapped up in the games and the support. And what you get from the Invictus Games is not just how it helps the competitors in terms of their rehabilitation, their recovery. And, don't forget in 2017, it wasn't that long after many of them had come out of Afghanistan. But also, it doesn't just affect the one individual, it's all the people around them, the support network around them, and therefore the families benefit from meeting other families or seeing the change in the, in the mood and the prospects of their loved ones. So there's something quite special about this event. And of course, Afghanistan might feel a bit history now. I was talking to a couple of the guys here, like JJ Chalmers. He says he was injured like nearly 20 years ago, maybe like 18 years ago. But we've got current events like Ukraine, and Ukraine's a member of Invictus Games, and they've also just welcomed in Uganda as a new country for next year, when it launches next year.
And as Chris says, it's not just about the individual, it is about their whole network and their family and their friends. But for the Games, we've spoken to so many people where they say the Games has completely changed their lives. It has even saved their lives. And it's not necessarily about the winning, it's about the taking part, and it's about giving them something to focus on. And I remember this moment we had at the first Games we were at. We were watching the swimming, and there was a competitor that came in much further behind everyone else, and the whole stadium was up on their feet.
I was going to say, what's a swimming pool? It's the whole swimming pool. I was saying, well, what's the word for a swimming pool? But
they
the
were
whole
all,
swimming hall,
weren't they?
Pool.
The crowd, the other competitors, everybody cheering this person on, and that's what Invictus is about.
All right, let's take a listen to Harry.
What has struck me walking around the arena today is just how many faces I recognise from those different groups that were part of the original journey back in 2014. Some of us have lost more of our hair. Some of us look younger than we did before. Some of us look older. But I just want to say thank you. Thank you for being such supporters to the Invictus community. Every one of you is part of this movement, and it wouldn't be what it is without you. Because Invictus has never just been about belonging to a team. It's about belonging to each other. We are a family, one that I am so proud and so honoured to be a part of.
Bless him. That was a lovely speech he gave, quite emotive as well. But he's had a really busy week, hasn't he? I mean, it started off not particularly well, not with the news he wanted to hear. Double blow, in fact. But then as the week has gone on, we've seen Harry in his, I don't know, in the form in which he's most natural, and that is all the charity work that he's doing. So he was also doing WellChild as well, because it was a 20th anniversary, wasn't it?
Yes, he was at Birmingham Children's Hospital, and you know the reception he got. I mean, given, as you say, what a terrible week he's had. It's been awful. You know, can't stay at the Palace, losing against the male group publishers. You know, and then the whole thing with his security, and yet the reception he got from the nurses there yesterday, you could just see it was lifting him. There's an interaction we can show you now, which was when Harry met one of the patients there, a little boy, and he spoke to him because he was watching or holding a Lego figure, and he spoke to him about his son Archie.
Oh, what's that, Jonas?
So from Lego.
Oh. Do you love the Lego movie?
Do.
You know who is obsessed with Lego? My son Archie. Obsessed. And he's very good at building things as well.
Did you see from that shot like how he was like holding on to his hand for a really long time? But just, you know, Harry, the WellChild Awards, which he comes over for every September, and Invictus, are probably the two charities that mean so much to him, and therefore I think Harry's able to sort of compartmentalize, if you like, all the shenanigans with the royal family. What did you call it earlier in the week, Charlene? Was it hoo-ha?
It was a hoo-ha.
The hoo-ha with the royal family.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a definite hoo-ha, wasn't it? And that hoo-ha's gone on and on and on. Like, will he see his father? Will he won't see his father? Is Meghan going to see the king? Are the grandchildren going to see the king? Is the king going to see? Where will they do it? Will it be Highgrove? Will it be? I mean, it's crazy. And imagine being in Harry's position, having to sort of deal with all that nonsense. So look, as we sit here and talk to you right now, no meeting scheduled with the king, but everything with this family and Prince Harry is TBC.
But do you know what? In terms of the job that he was, I don't know, born to do, which is, you know, to be of service, irrespective of the hoo-ha that's happened this week, irrespective of, I don't know, the articles that have been written about him, the vitriol surrounding the case and Meghan and saying not staying at Buckingham Palace, staying at Buckingham Palace, throughout all of that and everything that, you know, the word salad that's going on in his head, he's shown up, he's done the job, and he has achieved the things that he wanted to achieve this week, Lizzie. And that, with everything else that's happening in the world, I know there's lots happening in the world at the moment, but in his world, what he's achieved this week can't be underestimated.
Yeah, as Chris says, the charities, WellChild, Invictus, Scotty's Little Soldiers, he's doing something with them as well. Those are charities that he cares very deeply about, and he was going to always fulfill his commitment to those charities. And I think, you know, we'll see him back here later in the year doing the WellChild Awards, as he always does. But I was thinking earlier, you know, we've spoken September about how well that visit had gone for Prince Harry. He sort of repositioned his relationship with the media here a little bit. He'd done lots of public engagements. Those have gone really well. He'd had a meeting with his father for just under an hour, and there was a sort of thawing of relations there. And things looked like they were kind of getting slightly back on track. And this week, it's sort of fallen off the rails a little bit again.
Bumpy,
so
yeah.
let's see where it ends at the end of the visit.
Yeah, it's definitely bumpy this week for Harry, and in terms of the family, I mean, they are, you know, we've got to remember there's the public part of their job and then there's the private part of their job, and it often does get sort of like meshed together. And you mentioned earlier, Charlene, about the sort of social media hype about Harry and Meghan. We just think our job is to report on them as fairly and as accurately as possible, to get as much intelligence as we can from both sides, rather than, as you know, online sometimes it can be relentlessly negative.
Yeah, and I think people forget that he does do a lot of good stuff, irrespective of how you feel about his behaviour and his past behaviour. He still shows up and he still supports incredible charities and those people who are in need. So you're going to continue tailing him around, or do you get to leave him alone now?
Well, he's got one publicised event on Saturday with this charity called Sotty Little Soldiers, and that's the last publicised event he's got. What we therefore don't know is what he's going to do with his private time. Is that when he goes perhaps to Highgrove Estate, where his father, we think, is this weekend? It's all a bit perhaps, will he, won't he, will they? I mean, there's a lot of those questions going on, but the event here is over. In fact, I can hear the people collapsing the apparatus closer and closer to us. Man walking past us at the moment carrying a few plant pots. So definitely the event here is over. This one's done. Scotty's Little Soldiers on Saturday, and then personally I think they might have stayed a little bit longer, but I think after this week they'll be back to California.
Yeah. Okay, well, as we always say, a week is a long time when it comes to royal news, so who knows what will happen in the next few days. But thank you so much for updating us and everything in Birmingham, and I'll see you back in the studio next week. That's it from us for now. We're back next week. Who knows? We might end up with another bonus episode, but we can never really predict these things, so you never know. But in the meantime, don't forget to subscribe to the Talking Royals YouTube channel so you never miss an episode, and then you'll know if you end up with a bonus one next week. But if we don't do that, we shall see you next Friday as always. Bye-bye.